nobody's surrendering here. And we talked to the team about that. We have confidence in the players that will step in for him. We have confidence in our team, still has the ability to improve a lot. And that's what we're counting on. There's no surrender.
The Broncos are heading to Jerry World, getting set for their biggest game of the season, looking to snap the Cowboys' 6-game winning streak. We're getting you ready for kickoff. Hello, I'm Phil Milani alongside Sidney Jones and Eric Dalala. Guys, the big news around here this week was Von Miller getting traded to the LA Rams. He was the face of this franchise. Sidney, how do you think they'll respond without their leader?
Yeah, well, Phil, I think head coach Vic Fangio, he said it best. No one's surrendering here. They have confidence in this team and confidence in the players that are going to step up in Von's place. I mean, there's no replacing Von Miller, especially not here in Denver. The person and the teammate he was on and off the field, but think back to these past 2 seasons, this team has made do without Von. I mean, due to him being in and out to injuries, we saw Malik Reed, he stepped up big last season, made a huge impact, led the team in sacks last year. Looks like he's on his way to do that this year. But also, Bradley Chubb, soon enough, he'll be out there back on the other side of Malik Reed. And then last week against Washington, Stephen Weatherly, he contributed heavily. I think, this team is certainly going to miss Von's leadership and, the type of teammate he was, but this team is still going to go out and put their best foot forward moving forward.
Yeah, Von, 4.5 sacks this season, but not so much production the last several weeks here. Of course, he missed the Washington game with an injury. But, Eric, it felt weird around here on Monday and Tuesday, a little bit of a lull around the facility. You think they bounce back?
Well, I think hopefully they can play with some passion, play with some energy. These guys can step up. I mean, this is not the opponent you want to face after Von Miller leaves, maybe the toughest game left on the Broncos' schedule. But I think you saw the leadership from Teddy Bridgewater, Cortland Sutton, Justin Simmons. They said, hey, we're not phoning it in here. We're not waving the white flag. We're still going to play hard. And I thought Justin Simmons may have said it best when he said that after all the talk about Von, when we are going to miss him, but he said, I'm ready to just go play a football game. And so I think sometimes when weird things are going on, when it's hard to be at the facility, when you're dealing with these emotions, just getting back out on the grass is kind of what brings things back to normal.
Yeah, getting back to football, what these guys love to do. One player who knows a little bit about something about bouncing around the league is Teddy Bridgewater. Here's what his reaction was to the Von Miller trade.
You never want to see or say goodbye to, not only a teammate but a brother. But that's the business side of it, and we trust that George and coach are doing the best that they can to put together this roster, build this roster in a certain way. We got some guys who made some plays Sunday, and but the thing is, man, Von is going to be a Bronco forever. His legacy will live forever.
Well, without Von Miller, the Broncos are going up against one of the best offenses in the entire NFL with the Cowboys. The list goes on and on with their talent on that side of the ball, and it looks like Dak Prescott is going to be back this week. How do you think the Broncos defense matches up?
Yeah, Phil, I can't lie. The Cowboys have looked great offensively this season, and like you mentioned earlier, they're on a roll, winning their last 6 straight. I don't think it really matters whether Dak is going to play or not, even though it sounds like he is going to play, because last week, as we saw, the Cowboys' backup quarterback, Cooper Rush, he dominated as well. Obviously, it's going to be tough going against Dak, but it would be tough going against Cooper as well. I think for the Broncos defense, if they can limit big plays downfield and maybe for their rush defense, try and hold their own against Ezekiel Elliott and try to slow him down a little bit, maybe they have a chance. It's really going to be a tough matchup this week.
Ezekiel Elliott, the 5th leading rusher in the NFL. Plus they have those 2 wideouts out there. Amari Cooper, 5 touchdowns this season. CeeDee Lamb, 4 touchdowns. Eric, what are they going to do?
Well, I think you got to keep everything in front of you if you're the Broncos. You can't give up those big plays to Lamb, to Cooper. We know how good they are, particularly in the red zone. The Broncos have been pretty good there, so hopefully they match up well. But you need your secondary to play like they're the best secondary in the league, like they were expected to play coming into this season. So you need Justin Simmons to continue his momentum. You need Pat Surtain to stand up against maybe his toughest challenge of the season. And you need Ronald Darby to be really good. But the one thing that concerns me a little bit is Ezekiel Elliott in the passing game. We saw last week McKissick for the Washington football team. He got out in space, challenged the Broncos linebackers. I think he was their leading receiver. So you've got to watch out for Zeke in that area. Of course, the kind of the game-clinching play for the Cowboys last week against the Vikings was not a Zeke run, but a Zeke catch where he split 4 defenders, broke some tackles. that set up the game-winning score. So Baron Browning, Kenny Young, Justin Surtain, those guys are going to have to find a way to stick with him.
A tough test for sure for this Broncos defense. This week, Justin Simmons talked about what makes Dak Prescott so tough to defend.
He reads defenses really well. You know, he has full command, it seems like, already of the offense. And, you know, he directs traffic really well. Gets the ball out where he needs to. He can move the defense with his eyes. And then, you know, the thing that makes him dangerous is when it's all not there, he still has the ability to scramble and run and, you know, get the yards that are needed. And any quarterback that can do that and throw as well as he can throw, both short, intermediate, and long, you know, poses a big threat for a defense. And so, man, we got our work cut out for us.
The Broncos offense is facing a tough test too in this Cowboys defense. And in the middle of it all is MICAH Parsons, the Cowboys rookie. He was the 12th overall pick. It could have been a Bronco if the Broncos hadn't gone with Pat Surtain II. Sydney, who do you think is having a better rookie season?
That's a tough one, Phil. I mean, they're both having really great rookie seasons so far, but I think I'm going to have to go with Pat here, solely because he's been put in, you know, so many multiple different situations this season and has found success in all of them. I mean, he leads the team in passes defended with 7, which is second most among all NFL rookies. You know, for MICAH Parsons, you know, he really didn't play that well in pass coverage early on in the season. And then, you know, when they moved him to pass rushing, he's had a lot of success there. But for that reason solely, I'm going to have to go with Pat.
Pat started 7 games as a rookie at cornerback. That's pretty rare, I think, to find. And we've heard Vic Fangio talk about him all season long, how impressed he's been with the rookie out of Alabama. But Eric, on the other side, MICAH Parsons, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week this week.
Yeah, I mean, he racked up the tackles against the Vikings last week, and I think that's what gives him the slight edge, is that Defensive Player of the Week honor. He kept them in it. You know, without Dak Prescott, the defense had to play a good game. He did that, had 4 tackles for loss, and then way back at the beginning of the season in a win over the Chargers, had a sack. So he's played well in these big moments against quality opponents. He's played inside linebacker. He's played off the edge. Teddy Bridgewater said, you've got to know where he is at all times. And, you know, it's tough when you've got a guy like Trayvon Diggs who's got all these interceptions, but MICAH Parsons might already be their best defensive player. So I'd give him the edge. And I think when you're talking about Defensive Rookie of the Year in that race, Parsons probably has the edge just because the Cowboys have been on national television so much more. So not over for Pat. If he gets a few more picks the rest of the year, he could steal that award. But I think Parsons has the edge right now.
Yeah, Parsons, 11 tackles last week against the Vikings, 4 for a loss. That earned him Defensive Player of the Week honors there. Vic Fangio talks about what he's seen on tape from MICAH Parsons.
Yeah, he plays inside and outside, so it is unique. He's got versatility in his abilities to play in and out. He's a really explosive athlete, and he's a playmaker. You know, they got a good player. You know, if we didn't take Pat, he was the guy that was right there for us.
Our favorite part of the show here, score predictions. It's time to pony up here. Sydney, what's your score?
Well, as you guys know, I always like to pick the Broncos, but unfortunately this week I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys, and I think the final score is going to be 31-10.
31-10. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
A beatdown. Uh-oh.
I know.
Okay. Erica, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they're going to play some inspired football here without Vaughn. I think the Broncos are going to come out, have something to prove. I do think Dak being back in the lineup, that's just a little too much to overcome. I think the Cowboys sneak it out 28-23, but I think if you're a Broncos fan, that sort of performance is encouraging.
Yeah, a 5-point loss wouldn't be so bad down there in Texas. I also going with the Cowboys. I see 31-21. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one, and if you get into a shootout with the Cowboys, they probably have the edge at this point. So that's the first time all year long that any of us have taken the opposing team.
This might be the best team the Broncos play all year.
Yeah, they certainly look that way too. And we got a sneak peek into what's going on with the Cowboys during Hard Knocks. Looks like a team that's definitely on the rise. Mike McCarthy doing a great job this year. So it'll be a tough one for sure. That's going to do it for us. For Eric Dalala and Sydney Jones, I'm Phil Milani. This has been Ready for Kickoff.